Sipes1946 here. I want to introduce another Pokemon deck featuring some of the older cards. Now this deck is interesting to me, at least. Maybe you'll find it interesting as well, because we're not going to attempt to win through the conventional mechanism of dealing damage to our opponent's Pokemon and knocking them out. We're actually going to try to win with an interesting interaction or synergy between two specific cards. The first being the Stadium Lost World. And as you can see, the Stadium Lost World gives you an alternate win condition. And that alternate win condition is putting 6 or more of your opponent's Pokemon in the lost zone. So rather than taking 6 prize cards or decking your opponent or knocking out their last remaining Pokemon on their bench or in the active position to win, which are the 3 traditional win conditions, this is introducing an alternative win condition, and that's 6 of your opponent's Pokemon in the lost zone. And when this stadium is in play and you have at least 6 of your opponent's Pokemon in the lost zone, you may activate this stadium and win. Now the card that makes all this possible is Gengar Prime. Gengar Prime has the Catastrophe Pokebody ability. As long as Gengar is your active Pokemon, if any of your opponent's Pokemon will be knocked out, you can put that Pokemon in the lost zone. It also has the ability for 1 Psychic Energy of Hurl into Darkness, and this is the ability that we'll be using. Look at your opponent's hand, choose a number of Pokemon equal to the number of Psychic Energy attached to Gengar, and then put that Pokemon in the lost zone. Now it does have the Curse Drop ability, which I have rarely used, but it's there if you need it. Now we will use 3 Gengar Prime in this deck, and we're also going to take advantage of Mime Prime. We play 4 Mime Prime. Mime Prime has a Lost Link Poke ability, which allows you to use all the attacks of Pokemon in the Lost Zone, both yours and your opponent's. Now what we will do initially is put Mew in the active position, hopefully, and we're going to use the See Off ability to search our deck for a Pokemon and put it in the Lost Zone. That Pokemon that we're going to search and put into the Lost Zone will be Gengar Prime. That will mean that not only can we use Hurl into Darkness for many of our Gengar Prime we should have evolved and active, but we'll also be able to use the Hurl into Darkness simply by using Mime Prime. Mime Prime is a basic, there's no evolution, so we're able to get Mime Prime onto the bench and into the active position quite quickly. And as soon as we see off the first Gengar Prime, we're able to take advantage of the Lost Link ability and use the Hurl into Darkness ability. So we'll certainly attempt to evolve into Gengar Prime on the bench so that we have Gengar Prime as an attacker. You can see it has 130 hit points, so it is more robust than Mew, Mew having only 60 hit points. And with that being the case, we run 3 Ghastly, which is the basic that evolves into Haunter. We run 2 Haunter, and then Haunter, of course, evolves into Gengar Prime. So that accounts for the majority of the Pokemon in the deck. Now we do run some technologies here that help us do what it is we need to do. Now in order for the Hurl into Darkness ability to be effective, we need to make sure that the opponent has Pokemon in their hand. We have a few techs that can help us do that. Number 1, we run a Mr. Mime that allows us to use the Pokepower Trick Reveal. Before our attack, we're able to look at both our and our opponent's hand, and then we can see if that opponent has any Pokemon in their hand. Now they're looking at our hand as well, but it's important for us to know if they have any Pokemon in their hand, because when we do Hurl into Darkness, either from Gengar Prime attacking or from Mew using Lost Link, we want to be able to put Pokemon from their hand into the Lost Zone. So it's important that they have Pokemon in their hand. Another way that we're going to attempt to do this is by using Slowking. Slowking has a Pokepower called Second Sight. The Second Sight ability allows us to look at the top 3 cards of either player's deck. So we can pick ours or theirs. We can put them back in any order. Now we do run 2 Slowking and we run 2 Slowpoke. So if we're able to evolve both Slowpokes into Slowkings, we actually will be able to look at our hand, our deck, and their deck before we attack and put their cards and our cards in order. That would be ideal. We can control our draw, we can control their draw. We can put Pokemon at the top, for example, of their deck if we want them to draw into that, so then we can hurl them into darkness and put them in the Lost Zone. We also play Spiritomb. Spiritomb has a Pokepower ability, Spooky Whirlpool. The Spooky Whirlpool allows us to force our opponent to shuffle their hand into their deck and then draw 6 new cards. So if they haven't drawn into a Pokemon, or they don't have any Pokemon, we can use the Spooky Whirlpool ability and force them to draw 6 new cards. Now there's a great interaction between Spiritomb and our supporter card, the Seeker. Seeker allows each player to return a benched Pokemon on all cards attached to his or her hand. We'll do ours first, and then our opponent has to return a benched Pokemon. So if we use Seeker, forcing them to return a Pokemon to their hand, then we know that they have at least one Pokemon in their hand, and also we can return Spiritomb, which means we'll be able to use it again and force the Spooky Whirlpool. So there's a good interaction. Seeker, we know, puts a Pokemon in our opponent's hand, and we can also pick up our own Spiritomb, thereby being able to use it again. The last Pokemon that we play in this deck, I did mention two Slowpoke rather, which we evolve into Slowking for second sight. The last is Mime Jr. Mime Jr. has a Pokebody ability called Sweet Sleeping Face. It has a ability that costs no energy. Put the top card of your opponent's deck in the Lost Zone, and then Mime Jr. goes to sleep. With Mime Jr. asleep, the Pokebody ability prevents all damage that's done to it. So Mime Jr. serves 2 purposes. Number 1, Sweet Sleeping Face allows us to stall while we set up and prep and manipulate our deck and our opponent's deck. And Sleepy Lost lets us put the top card of our opponent's deck into the Lost Zone. If we've manipulated their deck using Slowking's second sight, then we might know that that card is a Pokemon. Or it could be a Pokemon just randomly if we didn't know what the top card was, but Sleepy Lost put it in the Lost Zone and it actually happened to be a Pokemon. So these Pokemon are going to work together, hopefully, to keep us in the game, meaning we haven't given up 6 prizes, and to continue to put Pokemon in the Lost Zone, so when we do have 6, we can activate Lost World and win the game. Now let's go to our supporters and trainers. Energy Returner. We run 1 Energy Returner to put 4 basic energy cards back into our deck. We run 2 Junk Arm to play and discard 2 other cards to search our discard pile for a trainer card. So that allows us effectively to have an additional copy of each trainer in the deck that we might be able to use situationally based on the game state. We run 2 Pokemon Communication. It allows us to show a Pokemon in our hand and then search for a Pokemon from our deck that we might need. So if we need that evolution or that stage 1 or some basic maybe, we're able to use this card, 2 copies of it to get what we need. 3 Rare Candy. The Rare Candy are used to help us evolve into Gengar quicker. It's possible that 3 Rare Candy is too many. I don't know. You know, as I play test this deck and get more experience, I'll be making modifications. We play 2 Super Scoop Up. Super Scoop Up does involve a coin flip, unfortunately, but if we do flip heads, we can return a Pokemon and all cards attached to it to our hand. That's quite useful if a card's about to be knocked out, giving up a prize that hopefully we would like to avoid, or maybe saving those energies for reuse. It's situational. You don't always want to Super Scoop Up one of your Pokemon. But if that is the case, then we like to use this card to make that happen. We will run 2 Switch, so we can move our active Pokemon and switch it with a benched Pokemon. That becomes effective if we are, you know, moving in and out of Mime Jr. Or maybe a Pokemon's about to get knocked out, but we have another powered up one on the bench. We can switch them without having to discard any energy for retreat. We run 1 Interviewer's Questions. Allows us to look at the top 8 cards, get as many energy cards as we like, and put those into our hand. The other cards then are shuffled back into the deck, so we're not putting cards into our discard. This allows us to get energy when we need it. We're running 3 Pokemon Collector. It allows us to search our deck for 3 basics, so we can use the Pokemon Collector to find the Ghastly or the Mime Prime or Mime Jr. or Mr. Mime or even Spiritomb or Slowpoke. So we can fill our bench up with the basic Pokemon that we need in order to make our evolutions happen. We also run 3 Professor Oak's New Theory. We shuffle our hand into the deck and then draw 6 cards. You know, we'll do that when we've played what we can. We have cards left we can't use, but we want to keep trying to be effective during the turn. We play 3 Seeker. We've talked about this card. Seeker forces our opponent to pick up a benched Pokemon. We also have to pick one up, but if we're picking up Spiritomb, or if one of our basics that doesn't evolve, then it's not a problem for us, but yet we're creating a target for Hurl into Darkness, so we can put that Pokemon into the Lost Zone and then keep working towards our win condition. Now let me go back and make a quick point here. I don't know if I made it strongly enough or not, but Hurl into Darkness allows us to put Pokemon into the Lost Zone equal to the number of energy attached to Gengar Prime. So if we have multiple energy attached, we can place multiple Pokemon into the Lost Zone at one time. The same is true if we're taking advantage of Mew's Lost Link ability. If we have multiple energy attached, multiple psychic energy attached to Mew Prime, then we're able to send multiple Pokemon to the Lost Zone at one time. So as we deck manipulate or look at our opponent's hand using Trick Reveal, if we see multiple Pokemon, then we want to power up our energy onto either Gengar Prime or Mew Prime so that we can send multiple Pokemon to the Lost Zone at the same time. Now that brings us to Twins. This deck takes a setup. Our Pokemon are easy to knock out. We typically find ourselves behind, and that allows us then to take advantage of the Twins supporter card. Twins, if we are behind in prize cards, which in many cases I find myself using this deck, we're able to get 2 cards out of our deck and put them in our hand. That can help us get the Seeker for next turn. That can help us get our win condition, our Lost World. That can help us get an energy. That can help us get any 2 cards that we need. So it's very powerful. And then finally, before we get into energy, we play 3 of the Stadium Lost World. This is our win condition. We really don't need to put Lost World into the active position unless we're about to win. However, we can use Lost World to knock out our opponent's stadium so that they're not taking advantage of whatever features that their stadium card provides. Bear in mind, though, that if Lost World is prized or irretrievably discarded, maybe we don't have Junk Arm, then we have to keep one of those Lost Worlds available to us so we can play it for the win condition. And that brings us then to energy. We play 2 Rescue Energy, which we'll put onto a Mew Prime or a Gengar Prime, so if those cards are knocked out, it and all the cards attached to it, that Pokemon is returned back to our hand with attached cards going to the discard. We play 2 of those, and then we play 3, 6 makes 9, and then 10 Psychic Energy. So with 12 energy, 29 trainers, and 19 Pokemon, taking advantage of Gengar Prime's very interesting ability, Hurl into Darkness, Mew Prime to take advantage of any of the attacks of any Pokemon in the Lost Zone, and Lost Worlds, 6 of your opponent's Pokemon in the Lost Zone win condition. We have a very unique combination ability deck, or combo deck, that allows us to win a match without really ever doing any damage to any of our opponent's Pokemon. It makes for an interesting match, and it changes things up. All right, let's take the LostGar deck into battle. We're going to battle X-Swizz, who is using a Donphan Prime deck. So it's HGSS Decole as well. So it's an appropriate matchup for an old school deck. Old school versus old school. Let's see what happens. This deck is a lot of fun to play. The cards are awesome. The alternate win condition is cool, but you got to get set up right. And if your opponent gets set up quickly and they start knocking you out before you're on a roll, it's tough to win. However, I'm going to have fun either way, and let's see what happens. His deck is quick to set up. It does a lot of damage, and it does the damage quick. So it would be the absolute worst deck for us to probably match up against. But let's see what happens. So we're going to go first. And let's see if we got some good cards. It'd be nice to have a Mew Prime on the bench and some other stuff, you know, but we'll see what happens. really don't have a great hand. We want to go ahead and put energy on the Ghastly because if we do evolve to Gengar Prime, we can start attempting to put his Pokemon into the Lost Zone. We don't need any more energy in our hand right now, so we really have done everything that we can. So that is not a quick start, but let's see what happens. He's going to grab some energy. He's going to put one on his Machop, and he's going to go ahead and steady punch. Hopefully for 10. If he wins a coin toss, it'll be for 20. He was not able to put a fight energy, so that's good. We're going to evolve to Haunter. We're going to go ahead and put a second energy onto Haunter. It's not something we probably normally want to do, but we can put his Pokemon to sleep and poisoned, which means we can continue to stall. Let's see if unfortunately it wakes up, which means if he puts a fight energy, he's going to be able to start the attack. So we're still not doing well. We needed a supporter to get more cards in our hand because we can't use the twins. We don't need interviewers' questions to give us energy. There's really no need in putting Lost World into play. Seeker's not going to really do us any good at the moment. He did have to switch his active to get the poison condition off of his Pokemon. We aren't able to promote into Gengar, so that's actually worked out pretty good. We can Seeker. We are going to head and put a third energy on Gengar Prime. We're going to Seeker, forcing him to pick up his Machop. He's going to lose that energy, or actually he's going to lose the energy, and we're going to go ahead and hurl into darkness, putting possibly up to 3. Only the Machop that we Seekered back into his hand, so that was a good Seeker. It did get one target. So he has at most one Pokemon in his hand if he drew one. So there's one Pokemon in the Lost Zone. We need 6 in order to attempt to win. I'm not going to use interviewers' questions to put more energy on Gengar Prime. I think that would be too risky. So we're going to go ahead and now at most, you know, he did Junk Arm and he discarded 2 cards. So, but he did not discard a Pokemon. So our choices here are to actually do damage, which is, you know, pretty strange. I don't normally do damage, or to hurl into darkness. I think in this case, we want to go ahead and do damage. I know this is unusual. I had said in the deck walkthrough that you don't do combat damage, but I'm pretty sure he's manipulating his hand so that he doesn't have any Pokemon targets for hurl into darkness. This is going to force him to do something because if we knock out his Phanpy, then he's been donked in the so he's already GGing. So what we're going to go ahead and do is take this victory and we're going to play again. We're going to take this. That is bizarre. That is the first time I have ever won with that deck through combat damage. But let's get a rematch. We're not going to go out like that. We need to show some Pokemon getting put into the Lost Zone. We need to try to win with our Lost City win condition. So let's see if he's willing to play us again. And let's get a more interesting match. Although that is a big win. If you can win that way with the LostGar deck, you know, take it. It's not going to happen very often. We're going to call heads, try to go first. And we do. We're going to go first. Let's see if we got a good setup. All right, Mime Prime in the active position is a good setup. We like that. Unfortunately, we don't have a Psychic Energy. Let's see what kind of setup he gets. We do have a Gengar Prime, but, you know, we got to evolve into that. We can put a Slowpoke on the bench. Let's do that. We can put a Rescue Energy on our Mime Prime. We're going to go ahead and do that. We really don't have any other choices right now. He plays a Machop into the active position, so we're done. Not too much going on there in our first turn. That's too bad. He's got a lot of cards. He puts an energy on Machop, and the damage is going to start. So he does 10, not 20, because he lost a coin flip. We are able to put a Ghastly on the bench, evolve our Slowpoke into Slowking, which means we can start manipulating a deck, which is good. And let's go ahead and manipulate our deck because I need to get something going on here. So I think Professor Oak's new theory is going to be what we're going to want. Let's put that on top. There's nothing we can do. We could switch into Ghastly. He's not going to be able to do 50 damage. I think we're going to just leave it where it's at. Hopefully with Professor Oak's new theory, we draw an energy and we can see off a Gengar Prime and get the party started here. Let's see if he puts another energy on his Machop or if he benches another Pokemon. Okay, he's got 2 energy now. He can still only do 10, possibly 20 damage. So he's got 30 damage on our active Mew Prime. We do have our rescue energy on it, which is good. We're going to rare candy our Ghastly into Gengar Prime, which is great. And we are able to Professor Oak's new theory. We got an energy, so we can put that onto. We're going to put that onto Gengar Prime. We're going to retreat, make the Gengar Prime active, and we're going to manipulate his deck this time. He's got Machop active, nothing else on the bench. He can do 60 damage, but I think that's going to be okay. No, he can do 60 damage. We don't want him to evolve into that, so we're going to give him some useless cards first. And we're going to go ahead and hurl into darkness. Hopefully we can find a target. We did not. We have not used See Off ability and put a Gengar Prime in the Lost Zone, so Mew can't use that ability. He doesn't have a Pokemon on the bench. All right, we're going to go ahead and put the energy on Mew Prime. We're going to retreat Gengar Prime, promoting Mew Prime. We're going to use Pokemon Collector to get some more Pokemon into play. We're going to get a Mew Prime, a Mime Jr, and a Spiritomb. We're going to put the Mime Jr and the Mew Prime on the bench. We're going to save the Spiritomb for when we want to force him to change his hand. We're going to go ahead and see off putting a Gengar Prime into the Lost Zone. So now our benched Mew and our other Mews can use the Lost Link ability. Unfortunately, he's going to knock out our Mew Prime. But we will be able to Spiritomb and force him to draw 6 new cards, hopefully Pokemon targets. We're going to promote our Gengar Prime, a little bit of a tougher target. We are losing in prizes, so we can use twins. We're gonna Pokemon. Actually, we're gonna use twins first and get a second energy. We're gonna get a second energy so that we can have a 2 energy on Gengar Prime, so possibly 2 targets, because we are gonna Spiritomb him. And we're gonna also go ahead and get another Mew Prime. We're going to attach the second energy. We're going to Spiritomb him. We're going to bench the Mew Prime. We're going to Spiritomb him, which means he's going to get 6 new cards. So there's no need to manipulate the top of his deck. We're going to manipulate our deck using Slowking's second sight ability. We're going to take Twins energy in Lost World. We're going to Spiritomb him to force him to draw 6 new cards, and we are going to hurl into darkness with 2 energy, which means we could get 2 targets. We got 1. We got a Machoke. So we have our first Pokemon into the Lost Zone. We need to get 5 more. He's taken 1 prize, which isn't good, but it could be worse. We're going to draw a card off of his Cheerleader's Cheer. Now, if he benches another Pokemon, we can use Seeker on him and get a second target, or get a target in his hand. We're going to put this energy onto one of our Mime Prime so that it's able to attack and possibly get a target. Seeker is still no good. We can super scoop up our Gengar Prime. We can, however, hurl into darkness with 2 targets. He's going to knock it out, though. I think we're going to go ahead and do it. Hopefully we'll get heads on the flip. We did. So we're going to take our Gengar Prime. We're going to promote the Mew with the energy on it. We're going to put a Ghastly down so we can evolve a second Gengar, hopefully. We have twins, and we are losing on prizes, which means we can go after a rare candy. So I think a rare candy and a supporter would be the way to go. Let's find us a rare candy, hopefully. All right, a rare candy. And I think Professor Oak's new theory would be good. Let's go ahead and manipulate his deck. Let's give him the rescue energy. That card's going to be dead because he's got a prize lead. We're not really ever going to take any prizes. And let's do Lost Link using Hurl into Darkness. Let's see if we find a target. We found a Donphan Prime, so now we have 2 Pokemon in the Lost Zone. We have a Donphan Prime and a Machoke in the Lost Zone. We need 4 more Pokemon before we can put our win condition in place and take the match. We have given up a prize card to our opponent. And he's got 50 damage on our active Mime Prime, so that's going to be a problem. Let's go ahead and evolve our Gengar Prime, or our Ghastly into Gengar Prime. We still can't use Seeker to any great advantage, although we can pick up our own Spiritomb. I think we're going to put a second energy on the active Mime Prime. We're going to risk, hopefully, that we can Seeker at least 2 targets into his hand. Okay, now we have our Spiritomb back into our hand because we played Seeker. We're going to Slow King, manipulating. He's going to get 6 cards, so manipulating his deck, we can only go 3 deep, so that's not going to do us any good. We're going to manipulate our deck to control our draws. I think another Seeker and an Energy and a Haunter would be great. So that'll be the order. We are going to Spiritomb, forcing him to get 6 new cards, and we are going to Lost Link using Hurl into Darkness. We have 2 energies. We found a single target, another Donphan Prime, so that's good. We have 3 Pokemon in the Lost Zone. So 3 more, and we're there. We've only given up a prize right now to our opponent, which is great. He is going to knock out this Mime Prime. We are going to promote a Gengar Prime. A little tougher. It's going to take him 3 hits to knock that out. We're going to put an energy onto Gengar Prime so we can Hurl into Darkness. We're going to Seeker again, picking up Spiritomb. We're going to manipulate our deck. I'm going to do it like that. Put Professor Oak's new theory on top. We're going to go ahead and play Spiritomb, forcing him to get a new hand. And we're going to Hurl into Darkness. Hopefully we find a target. We did. We got another Donphan Prime. That's the 3rd Donphan Prime that's been Lost Zone. So it's hard to play a Donphan Prime deck when you can't play Donphan Prime. We need 2 more Pokemon into the Lost Zone. We've given up 2 prizes, though. It is going to take him, with this pace, it's going to take him 2 more hits onto a Gengar Prime. And that's not too bad. We're going to go ahead and Professor Oak's new theory to get 6 new cards. You know what? He hasn't played a Stadium. I don't know if he's going to play a Stadium. All this Donphan. So we have Donphan primed the Donphan Prime deck. That's not bad. That's good. We're going to go ahead and play our Stadium. He hasn't played a Stadium. I don't know if he plays a Stadium. So let's just get it out there because we're going to play another energy onto our Gengar Prime, giving us ability to put 2 cards in the Lost Zone. We're going to manipulate his deck, since we have Professor Oak's new theory for ours. We're going to give him something that he can't use. And we're going to hurl into darkness. Hopefully we find 2 targets. We find none. Okay. So he's not going to draw a Pokemon on that turn either. He drew a rescue energy that we put in place using Slowking's second sight ability. He's going to knock out our Gengar Prime on his next attack. We could, however, retreat. We're going to put an energy onto our Mew Prime so that it's active. We're going to Professor Oak's new theory. Nothing we can do there. We're going to manipulate his deck, try to keep him off of anything powerful. We're going to give him Flower Shop Lady. We're going to go ahead and retreat our Gengar Prime and promote a Mew Prime. And then we're going to Lost Link, hurl into darkness. Hopefully we find a target. We found no targets. I do have Twins I'll be able to play since he's got a 2-prize lead on us. He does 50 damage to the Mew Prime, which means he could knock that on the next hit. He can also knock out the Gengar Prime, should we promote that. We could retreat into Mime Jr. I think what we're going to do, though, is we're going to first use Twins to get a Seeker if we can. We're going to get a Super Scoop Up and a Seeker. I don't think there's a Seeker. So we've either played them all or there's one prized. We can Junk Arm for a Seeker. We can get a Trainer. Actually, we can't get a Seeker. Seeker's a supporter. But we can get a second Super Scoop Up using our Junk Arm, which I think we're going to want to go ahead and do. We don't want to give up this prize if we can help it. So we're going to take our Mew. We're going to promote Slowking. We're going to put Mew back on the bench. We're going to attach an energy to Mew. We're going to manipulate our deck. We're going to get Twins next draw. We're going to go ahead and hurl into darkness. Hopefully we'll find a target. Nope, nothing. So we still only have four of his Pokemon in the Lost Zone. He's going to knock out our Gengar Prime. We're going to promote Mew Prime. He's taken 3 prizes. We're going to put an energy on Mew Prime to try to get 2 Lost Link hurl into darkness targets. We're going to attempt to Super Scoop Up Spiritomb. We are going to second sight our own deck because we're going to force him to draw 6 new cards. We're going to get an energy, so let's go ahead and take Slowpoke. We're going to play Spiritomb, forcing him to get 6 new cards. Now we can get 2 targets. Now we haven't played a supporter. I don't know what the Twins for, though, at the moment. What would I Twins for? What would I Twins for? Let's go ahead and play Twins now. We have 15 cards left in our deck. All right, let's take a Ghastly. Let's take a Rescue Energy. All right, now we're going to Lost Link, Hurl into Darkness. We have 2 energy. We could get 2 targets. And we got 1 target. We now have 5 Pokemon. We need to get 1 more Pokemon in the Lost Zone for the win. He needs to take 3 more prizes, which is 3 more knockouts. No EXs in the deck. He's going to have to knock out 3 more Pokemon. He still has his Machop that can do 50 damage per attack. He's going to bench all. He's going to bench all those though, so none of those are going to be in his hand. We've got to find a way to get some cards in his hand. We're going to have to use Slowking to manipulate his deck. I think we got to get him to. We got to get him to draw into something. Okay, so now he has a Machamp. He's going to be able to do 60, 90 damage, which is going to 1-hit KO any of my remaining Pokemon. We're going to put Mime Jr. into the active position. Going to play another Slowpoke. We're going to Pokemon Collector. Nope, we're out. And this is a catastrophic situation to be in, because if we don't have Gengar Prime or Mew Prime, aha, okay, so we're going to be able to rare Candy and then Gengar our Ghastly, which means we can be back in this. We're going to go ahead and attach an energy to Ghastly, and hopefully we put a Pokemon and he wakes up. That's too bad. That means he's going to knock it out and he's going to be down to his last prize. We still only have 5 of his Pokemon. We need 6. So he's going to be able to 1-hit KO. So I don't think there's anything that we can do here. There's nothing that we can do. Let me think here before I promote. I don't think there's anything that I can do. There's nothing that I can do. Let's go through the motions here because he's going to attack. We're going to go ahead and, out of spite, put a damage counter on his active Machamp. And with 5 of his Pokemon in the Lost Zone, we're going to get knocked out for the loss. That's okay, though. I'm sure I made enough mistakes in this match where I could have had the 6th Pokemon in the Lost Zone. I've still got to get the hang of Second Sight and the Mime Jr.'s ability, the attack that allows me to put the top card into his of his deck into the Lost Zone. I've got to figure that out. I'm sure I could have got that last Pokemon into the Lost Zone and won the game. So with a few more matches, I'm sure I'll become more lethal. But I guarantee you this deck is a lot of fun to play. And if you're sick of playing combat-related matches where you do damage to knock out your opponent's Pokemon, this is the deck for you.